welcome back to our beautiful universe series talking about the planets, the signs and the houses. And today it's all about beautiful Mercury, it's about Gemini, and it's about the third house. And all of these topics are so beautiful and we can learn so much out of them. And I guess we just start. So let's start with Mercury. And I think it's so funny how a planet can become like such a famous planet and such a hype, because everyone knows Mercury retrograde, and it's such a hype on social media. And this is, I guess, because Mercury is retrograde like very often. It's a planet that is the most retrograde. It's one of our inner planets. It's one of our personality planet. So it's very important for ourselves, for everyone. And Mercury stays in one sign for only 7 days, around 7 days. So it only needs like 87 days, like about 87 days, to wander through all of the zodiac signs. And like mostly Mercury is retrograde about 3 times a year. And when it comes to the topics of Mercury, like Mercury is our planet of our mind, of our mindset, of our thoughts, of how we realize our world, our being, everything, like how we understand the world. It's connected to higher wisdom, to also higher energies, and like the third eye, like third eye open to receive information, to receive wisdom. It's very seeking for wisdom. And it's also the planet of communication, of speaking, of using words, of giving news, of communicating, of also connecting different parts, because when we communicate, we usually always do it like one part to the other. And it's how we communicate, about what we communicate. So you can have a look at your birth chart and just have a look at where your Mercury is placed, because the sign it is placed in, this is how you communicate, how you are connected to your mind, what's important to your mind. Especially you find this in the houses, like about what topics you love to talk about, to think about, to also receive more wisdom, for example, like everything, that's very connected to your very own mindset as well. And it's also how we are polled in our mindset at some kind, because of course we all have our life, we all experience different things, and this of course also changes our mindset. But you can already receive the information of what you love to communicate and how you love to communicate, what's important for you, also where you want to achieve like higher wisdom. And Mercury is also the planet of trade, of sales, because usually we communicate, we use our mind as well for the trade. So it's also like very important for your job, for your life purpose, because usually we all have to communicate in one specific way. It doesn't specifically has to be about directly speaking, about using words through text or whatever, but we can also communicate via visuals, for example, or via sounds or whatever, And Mercury is such an important planet. It's also it's also connected to traveling, but only like the smaller travels. Like we also have it in the third house, like the topic of traveling, also with Gemini, because all of them are connected. But it's also connected to like airplane, like very similar as Aquarius, for example. And for everything that is moving in the air, because it's ruled by the air. Mercury is the planet that is also like very similar to Venus. it's connected to two zodiac signs. One's to Gemini and the second one is Virgo, because Virgo is also like very mind orientated. So everything that is very connected to our mindset, to communication and everything around that is very Mercury like. So this is what we can read with Mercury. If we go further to Gemini. Gemini is one of the zodiacs together with Scorpio that is so often described in a wrong way, I guess. Because mostly when people talk about Gemini, they mostly talk about the two faces of Gemini, and you never know what they think about you or how much they truly like you or stuff like that. And this is somehow true. But also, let me keep it this way. Geminis do have two sides. But to be honest, we all have. We all have two faces and two voices in ourselves and all of it. But it's like more strong at the Geminis. But the thing is, like Geminis are so, I love Geminis. Geminis are so smart. They always want to receive like more information. They are very curious. They are very open-minded. They are so open for everything new, and they love to stay like a little child. Like they keep the inner child. This is what I find so inspiring and so lovely. They are also like very optimistic and like they have so many energies of our inner child, of constantly learning and being open-minded and kind of also a little bit of being naive, but in a very lovely positive way, of being curious and letting in the new and not judging that much, but like knowing that everyone has their own opinion. And this is what so many people can learn from Geminis, I guess. And like they always want to receive more wisdom. They always love to educate themselves, to get wiser and smarter again. And they have so many beautiful visions. And this is sometimes what makes it hard for them, because they are interested in everything. They can find a pleasure in everything, and this is beautiful. This is their strength, but also it can be a little bit difficult for them, because it's harder for them to focus on only one thing and to bring it to an end and something like that. Because if they have like one vision, there's already another vision. It's very similar to Aries somehow, and sometimes they don't know what's more important or what to focus on or how to be grounded, for example, and to make some structures and some plan for getting into it. And this is what they're allowed to learn, to bring more earth into their air energy. And also it's not the easiest for them to make decisions. This is also where the two faces are showing up, because one moment they want to do this or to have this or to feel this or whatever, and the other second it's the complete other way around, because everything is interesting, and it's so hard for them to make one decision, because like their soul is divided in two halves and everything is interesting and everything has its place to be somewhere, and it's hard for them, it's strenuous for them, because being able to make decisions is not the easiest thing, because we have to make decisions. This is what brings us further, like to make decisions, to leave something behind and to go on, for example. And it also makes the people around them, it makes it harder for them to really know how to support Geminis, because the moment they want this, the other this, so it's very hard for them to give them exactly what they want, because mostly Geminis don't know it exactly first, and they have to know it first, that others know it as well. So this is what Geminis are allowed to learn, to be more grounded and to trust their inner voice, because they are very mind orientated and they think a lot. Geminis really think a lot, and this is what makes them so beautiful, I think, because they are smart. They don't just do things, they think about things, but also they overthink things a lot, and this is what can limit them in their growth. So what they are allowed to learn is to ground themselves and to trust their inner voice, to strengthen the connection to the intuition, for example. So what else to say about Geminis? Geminis may change their positions in jobs or what they are doing in their life more often than others, because they have so many interests. Like they find everything somehow interesting, and mostly they love to also work with somehow education or things like that. But this is only one thing, and you also have like the rising sign, you have your moon sign, you have your life purpose point in your chart and so ever. So you can't say it in only just one thing, but usually they love to work with news or communication, or to write things, or to use their brain for the work, of course. And something else to say? Yes. They are also very lovely and funny. Like Geminis always have like a little easiness in their nature. You know, like they can support people so much in getting out of the big oceans of emotions, for example. And you know, like they're funny. They love to make silly jokes, and this is what brings back like a smile at your face. So you can also always relate on Geminis. So if you have like a Gemini friend, they will be with you in every second if you need them, because they are very loyal as well. And this is not like the first thing that you would say about Geminis, because usually Geminis have like a big circle of friends because of their interest. So they love to connect with many different people to learn from them and to get inspired and stuff like that. But they are very loyal to the few very intense friends, you know, and they will be at yours whenever you need them. Yes, so this is about Geminis. I guess like that's like a good overview about the Gemini energy. So if you have like a planet in Gemini, it depends on which planet, but it's mostly like connected to education, to communication, to news, to your mindset, to what else? To education. I don't know if I already said it. Yes, so this is it. And then we have the third house. And of course, it's very connected to these topics that we already talked about. And in the third house, you can read like everything about your mindset and your education. So when a planet is in the third house, it's always connected to learning. It's connected to getting education, to be educated. For example, like if your sun is in the third house, it's very important for you to constantly learn, to receive new wisdom, to get well educated. I guess you won't be like the person that gets 100% into only creativity or stuff like that. It's really about using your brain and feeding your brain and educating yourself, maybe also educating others, for example. So Also, if your life purpose of the 10th house is connected to the 3rd house, for example, it's very easily that you become like a teacher or something like that, for example. And or maybe also like an author or something like that, or if you that you work in the news field of, I don't know, a TV station or something like that, to give others information and to communicate about it, however it will be. And so this is what you can read in the 3rd house. If you have any planets placed in the 3rd house, this is how you are connected to your mind, what is important, like which topic is important when it comes to educating yourselves and communicating to others. So this is like the topic you can read with the planet that is placed in the house, how the energy is. You can read in which sign the planet is, and then it's all about like the topic of education, of news, of your mindset, and everything around that. Also connected to your job in somehow, or trading or sales or something like that. So, for example, if Mercury is in the 3rd house, it's very clear that you will use communication in your job, in that you will learn a lot, for example. So I just think if I could give other examples, but I guess it's very easy and clear to talk about this. So these are our 3 topics of this video, of Mercury, of Gemini, and of the 3rd house. And just get your birth chart, have a look at what planets are in which signs, how everything is connected, and how you can read it on your own and receive some new information out of it, because this is all what this energy is also about, to receive new information about everything in order to grow. Alright babes, so have fun, enjoy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me at any time, best in our WhatsApp group, and I'm happy to give you all of the information that you need. Sending all my love to you.